Okay, the time I officed with this individual, even in his later years on the job, they'd have raids in some of these taverns for selling illegal whiskey. No, I'm saying that wrong. For selling whiskey without a federal tax stamp. Any tavern had to have a federal tax stamp to sell whiskey. And even some of the taverns in Fort Dodge, at the time I was an agent with the Treasury Department, failed to have this tax stamp. And they'd have raids on these taverns, even in the 50s. But going back to the 30s, he always told the story, not always told, he told the story that they had this raid, they were going to have a raid on a tavern in Breda. And this guy was selling and failed to have a tax stamp. That was his only fault. And the tax stamp was relatively cheap. I think it was $250. It was no big deal. But they wanted the county attorney on the raid because he had to sign the warrants or something like that, the search warrants, something like that. They couldn't find the county attorney. They found some judge as far as signing the search warrant. So they looked and looked, and they called for the county attorney, and they could not find him. So they went on the raid anyway. So they got to the tavern in Breda, and there the county attorney was sitting drinking. I always thought that was a very funny story.
Did they, so did you go through with it, or did they just say, oh?
They had the raid. They went through with the raid, yeah. It wasn't illegal to drink.
It wasn't a crime to
No,
be a patron, huh?
no, but... Right. I thought it was a very, very good story. In the same tavern, but in the 50s, see, in order to get a man for the violation of this stamp, you had to have a buy. You just couldn't find the whiskey on hand. You had to have a buy. You had to have somebody go and buy. And they tried 2 or 3 times to make this buy. I remember because I was an agent here for the IRS then. And the guy who was making the buy would walk in with a suit of clothes and a tie and everything else, and ask for a shot of so-and-so or a shot of so-and-so, and they never could buy anything. And I said, well, you dumb son of a gun, go to the grocery store and get a loaf of bread or anything, a sack of groceries, and dress like you're dressed and everything. Just go and ask for a drink. I don't care about the phone. And so the guy did, this agent did it then, and bought some groceries, walks in with overalls on or a jacket, asked for a drink, he had it, then they had their buy. Mm-hmm. See? Yeah.
They knew that.
Right.
They knew that he was dressed too sharply for one of the regular.
Yeah. That was in the 50s even.
Huh. All right.